Okay, the meeting's been called to order. Are there any changes to the agenda or to the minutes from last month's meeting?
The agenda, I think you wanted to correct treasurer's report, they're still getting it.
No, that was Denny's giving it. So that's a correction, yes.
Minutes, just two things, one, so there's name was spelled in two different ways.
Actually, my name.
Starter,
Okay.
are there any corrections to agenda? And the other things I saw that there was a discussion of a new accounting firm. And if you're still, that works with, Tyler Sims. They do a lot of work for nonprofits, they give discounts,
They no longer giving us a discount. In fact, they nearly doubled their fee for this past year, which is why we're looking for somebody new.
Unless you can. Okay. Moving on from there. Okay, anything else for the minutes? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last month?
So
Second,
second.
all in favor? I'm abstaining, was not here.
I put in there that I didn't have the
yes,
information.
change it.
And
You can go the way you want me to.
thank you.
Okay, the minutes are passed.
Thank you.
Right.
Emma, you caught up? Caught up. Okay,
I wish you'd let us know.
director's report from Claire.
Oh, already, okay. Emma had sent out the February report. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to read the March report that I sent out just about an hour ago. Or if you have any questions on that, I'm just looking to see what the highlights of this report are. We will need help with the rare and vintage book sale. The weekend of May 16, 17, 18. So if anybody can email me with times that they can help with that, that would be really appreciated. And if I don't hear from anybody, I'm gonna put together a list so that I can populate it and start reminding you all that I need you to help fill in those times.
The answer is choice.
Thank you.
Hi, Bianca.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry, just trying to get my
But
video.
not Priscilla, right? So
She will not be during this meeting.
no.
She's out. Okay,
Can I make a suggestion?
yes,
And
please do.
skip to the second thing that you said, which is send out the schedule for starters.
Okay,
So we can just populate it and,
I will do that this week because the sooner that gets done, the better.
you know,
The better.
Claire, is this for the book sale?
This is for
Sale
the
during
books.
the
The book sale during the event and the book sale for the book stack weekend. So it will be Thursday evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday.
so it's so helpful to send out the sort of the time slots that
Right.
we can load in.
Which I have done in the past.
So then we can all see and we can kind of wrap our minds around it, and everybody, it helps, and you don't have to do long shifts. It works great sometimes when you do a shift of an hour or 2 hours, and before you know it, the day is filled
The
in.
day is done.
And then that way you'll also be able to say when you want, two people.
Right. Well,
first.
Mac will be working this one on Friday and Saturday. He'll be there all day. So that's terrific because if we are short at all, he certainly knows what he's doing with that.
Okay, great.
So that'll be great.
Sign up because it do make, several $1,000s at the event and it's.
And it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks in advance.
Without a ton.
That being said, we're also having a spring event, which we're calling a daffodil affair. That Thursday evening, and I don't know what we were thinking the daffodils would be in bloom at that time. Yeah, that's okay, even if we, be quiet. I'm up with one daffodil, we should fill in with other flowers. It will be fine. It will be a very flowery event. And we're asking you to really spread the word. We want it to be really busy. We want to sell a lot of tickets. We've had 2 Wausau events, with the second one being much busier than the first one, and we hope this one will be even busier still.
It's the best way to describe this, isn't it? How would you even want to say this?
Oh, gosh, you know what? There's little postcards about it on the front desk. And if everybody could take one of those, then we could all be using the same verbiage in how we describe it, which would really be the best way to go about it. Yeah, would you go grab one and I can see, or grab one for everyone?
Okay, perfect.
But in the past, it's been, a cocktail party held at the library, there's usually a scavenger hunt or something like a game of some sort to do. For people that
Right.
don't wanna stand around and talk to people.
Because there are people who don't want to stand around and talk to people, and it's
Yeah.
hard for them to come
Right.
to events such as this.
And it's a beautiful setting, and it's gonna be Thursday kickoff for both stock, so there'll be a lot of people in town.
We're hoping instead of having our regular charcuterie board to have sushi or dumplings or some such thing. Fun and fundraising spring social.
Great.
Okay,
Uplifting music, tasty food and
Here's what we got.
and we will once again turn the circulation desk into the bar, which seems to be really well received. People do love that. So we'll be doing that. So please, please talk it up with everybody you know.
How many tickets are you hoping or forecasting that we sell? Any thoughts on that?
We'd be really happy if we could sell 100 tickets.
Wow,
Right.
that'd be great.
It would be great if we could sell 100 tickets.
Okay.
How much did it cost to do catering and everything? Like what the,
We haven't worked that all out yet.
okay,
Yeah, we're thinking of $400 or less
okay.
to cater the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get there early.
All right. And then where will the public see and learn about?
This will be, it already has been on Instagram. It will be in our upcoming newsletter. It will be on our circulating electronic board out front here. There will be, Adrian will do a picture of it on our front chalkboard. He may even do one out on the main chalkboard out on Elm Street,
Yeah.
which would be really nice. That would be really great. So it'll be just about everywhere. It'll be in the Standard. It'll be in all the listservs.
Okay.
I know, there've been some other event, and I can't remember which one, that they've worked with the Change the World kids to offer babysitting for free for people, so that families can come, like parents could come and have like kids over a certain age be watched for a couple hours. Is that something you've ever explored for you?
We've kind of talked about it and strike down the idea.
Okay,
Only because we wanted it to be an adult only event, just to make it a little more special, to have a special night out without children in the background.
I think that.
I know.
My understanding is that. They actually allow for that, so like the Change the World kid would be babysitting like downstairs. Or something, in a small room in the corner,
So it frees
so
up
that
the
then
corners.
parents could come. I just know for like our population, it's like a lot, this is a hard time to sneak out.
Yeah.
And babysitters, there are only so many, so we tend to have to compete against each other. So I just thought I would put that out there as far as reaching a different demographic. I think that.
Well, it is something we'll revisit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thinking about that, as we think about how do we have an event.
Because that is one of our purposes for this.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like my daughter would be too young to go, but there are families that like with elementary school age kids where the kids are like, they're fine, they just kind of need.
So maybe you could have kids above this age. So
Yeah.
it's not such a burden on babies.
That's what they tend to do. So
Okay.
the Change the World kids have like a setup for this. They do this at town meeting, they do this, for.
So they don't take infants or anything at this event. They take, say, children 8 years and up, or 8 to
Yeah.
10, or 8 to 12, or
They-
whatever. they have like a system for doing this, and I don't know what it is, but I know that. It's something that other events have you put into place to kind of, help sweeten the deal a little bit.
It might be
We'll
worthwhile,
look into it.
it might be worthwhile to give this a try.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
On their base.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, Jack. I do know.
Phyllis,
Phil's still doing it?
No, Phyllis isn't still doing that.
Susan said she has contacted, and she's gonna find out, sort of what they charge and sort of the minimum age. Sort of
Okay.
bracket, what they, yeah, the parameter.
Rachel Apple.
Yes, Rachel Apple is the one doing it now.
I see a bunch of kids who are in Change the World Kids,
Uh-huh.
okay, so I can just ask.
Okay,
perfect.
So
that would be terrific, yeah.
Yeah, or Emily, there's an email. Oh, God.
She's here in the library regularly, so, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's something we should try to consider.
I think we should too, especially since that is part of the demographic we're trying to draw in.
Getting people more from a kid's library too, like.
Yep. We will just keep the,
That's at 5 o'clock.
it's at 6 o'clock. We'll just keep the treasurer, the scavenger hunt off of that floor.
Yeah.
We can do that.
That's a great idea. Thank you. And just a quick question, is the bar, is it a hosted bar or cash bar?
Hosted,
Hosted?
Yeah.
Very nice.
yes.
It's just wine, isn't it?
We decided to do wine and kombucha. I don't know if we decided to do beer or not. Did we do beer at the last Christmas event?
I think so.
All right, then we'll
We
do
have beer.
wine and beer and kombucha.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Beer is so on brand for fun. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, we're replacing our phone system. It has been failing us on a fairly regular basis. And speaking with the person who has been taking care of it for us in the background for the last 10+ years, he says that we're due for just a fail that we can't come back from. And the time has come just to redo the whole system. So we have put in an order for, I'm gonna say 11 phones, but we'll be cutting our voicemail boxes down from 12 to 7, which will be enormous not enormous, but it'll be a big savings for us.
when does that happen?
I'm not sure when it's scheduled for. We have put in the order, but Michael has been working on it. And he's out of town last week and this week.
Sure.
So I'm sure once he's done, once he's back, we'll hear all about it. Baker and Taylor, who is our major book supplier, has really been letting us down as of late. And I don't know, do you use Baker and Taylor at the library at the high school?
No, we used to, and I loved it, but it's not available for schools.
For schools anymore, it's just public libraries. I did know that. We're finding books very hard to come by. And whereas we used to get up to a 40% discount on books, now we're finding that they're giving us $1, $2 off of each book, which is practically nothing. We can do better at the bookstore across the street. And this isn't just our library, it's every library that is finding themselves with this problem. And no one can get a straight answer out of Baker and Taylor. So I suggested we just start investigating different sources for books, and
Okay,
that is something we will be doing. We may have to, unfortunately, start getting them from multiple sources. It was so easy just to go to one source, get all your books, get all your records, have everything processed. But if we can't get books, we can't use them.
Could you work out a deal with your local bookstore?
We could, but the problem with that, Joe, is when we buy books from a source such as Baker and Taylor, it comes with the library record attached. With the call number and the whole record that goes into our catalog system.
Isn't that what tomorrow does? Is that her name? Downstairs.
Oh, Ellen?
How, yeah.
Um,
Moles.
Ellen does that for some books that we get from different sources that don't have records. And if they're really old books, she can sometimes find records for them. But it's quite difficult to write up an official library catalog record from scratch. And so it's
This
really,
almost sounds like this company is going belly up.
that's what I suggested last week. that
They're like the foremost book.
They are the most foremost.
Independent books.
Mhm.
Too,
Mhm.
so that,
Them and Ingram,
yeah.
but libraries have been saying that Ingram is having problems too.
Yeah.
So I think the time has come just to start poking around and see what we can find as far as different sources for books.
Like, I wonder who Yankee Books uses.
They primarily get their books directly from publishers.
Okay.
They don't use the same type of source because they're not looking for the records that were,
Priscilla Hammond,
and the records are the big pieces.
she could probably help you.
Well, she may be able to. She may be able to.
Claire, I use Follett.
Do you use Follett?
Yeah.
I don't have Follett on my list, I don't think. But I will add that. Thank you.
Interesting problem.
It is an interesting problem. And it's also been brought to my attention from somebody in a meeting I was at that most of the paper that books are produced on comes from Canada. And because of the new tariffs, paper prices are gonna go through the roof, and consequently, book prices are gonna go through the roof.
Claire, have you had any conversations with any other, library directors who have maybe used this company and run into this, and have they?
Baker and Taylor?
And
Yes.
have they found an alternative
They
source?
haven't yet.
Still-
We're all in the
still-
same level, in the same place. And everybody is just now starting to realize, hey, we need to do something here.
Concerning.
It is. It is. We have done without books. We've been more and more going over to the bookstore to get books that Baker and Taylor just isn't supplying. And just making up records and everybody, all the libraries collectively putting in their little pieces of a record to make a solid record.
Can I be unintelligent and ask, can you explain what that record is you're talking about? I don't know enough about books in the library, I'm sorry.
When you create a record for a book,
Yeah.
you take your ISBN number and you put that in there. You have to put in a number from the catalog. Why am I spacing in Washington?
Yes.
Library of Congress. Thank you.
Yes.
From the Library of Congress has a series of certain numbers that have to go into a record. And so those are all fields that you have to populate.
Got it.
It's like 9 pages of fields to populate in every,
For each book?
for each book.
Wow.
And so they have our catalog on with them. So they, Baker and Taylor,
No, they don't have our
don't they
catalog.
preload our numbers?
I could
They
explain.
preload their numbers. Can you explain it better?
So, what you asked about is called original cataloging, and it's extremely time consuming.
Okay.
And some academic libraries and even public libraries, employ people to do that full time. But for me, in a school library, I have the convenience of using a book supplier. So, they don't have our catalog, but we import the records that they send to us into our catalog. So it's extremely time consuming. As Claire said, the books come processed, they have covers on them, the barcodes are on them, our school name is on them, they have sign labels on them. So for shelving, for access, it's a huge convenience. And I would also recommend speaking to Junior Library Guild as a resource for children's books and young adult books.
I think we at one time did use Junior Library Guild. I think for the company that was choosing books for us at one point, and I was not happy with that.
It is a subscription service, but you can override any of the choices.
Yeah,
And they also offer meal group discounts.
well, we have to go back to that. Yeah, anyway.
Thank you.
To be continued.
So it's a big process.
It is a big process, but we will work it out.
Thanks.
We will work
It's
it out.
two kind of big things, the phone system
And that,
and books.
Yeah.
and now with the new decree from the president that the IMLS, which is the Institute for Museum and Library Services, is to be defunded. So that's a lot of money, not necessarily for us, but there'll be a lot of trickle down on that. They supply funding for interlibrary loan, they supply funding for the summer reading program, they supply monies for the courier service, the summer reading program. Those are the two big ones that will affect us.
I wonder if there's any, because, we're talking about a number of things, from the paper to the control system to where funding comes from, all hitting at the same time. I'm wondering whether this means a countywide or statewide approach to answering the issue.
Well, the Department of Libraries is aware of all of these issues that I have spoken of here. And we have had meetings and we continue, there's another meeting coming up to discuss a lot of this. So they are very aware and on top of it.
I'd feel more comfortable if they were actually taking action.
They're trying, it's,
In real time, right?
yeah, it is, there's not much, yeah. They're doing the best they can do with hands that are really effectively just tied. There was a big giant grant, well, as you all know, that we did not get. But many libraries started multi-million-dollar projects.
Ooh, good for them.
Yep, expecting to get all this money, and some of them are well into these projects. And now the funding has been frozen and they're not getting the funding.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of happy we didn't get that grant.
Blessing in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
The accounting firms.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, so as we were saying, Tyler Sims, I have a strong suspicion are trying to push out the small nonprofit work. And by doing so, they nearly doubled the fee that they charge, that they've been charging for years. We've used Tyler Sims. And suddenly out of the blue, this past year, they said, we're gonna be charging you $10,000 more than we have in the past. So we have come up with 3 different accounting firms. And I'll read them out because I don't know them, but maybe somebody does. There's Schiffman and DeTilio in
They've
Lebanon.
been around a long time, they're good.
Jane works with them with a couple of companies that
No,
she
it's
works
not
with.
first, what's it?
Schiffman
Yeah.
and DeTilio.
Dave Toledo?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's Kevin Early in Claremont. That's another person that Jane works with through other companies that she does bookkeeping for. And Michael suggested a company called Fothergill out of
Yeah,
Montpelier.
he's been around a long time too.
Yeah. Anyway, my plan is to call these companies, and see if we can, where we can get with them, and also to call Tyler Sims and ask for a bid from them, letting them know that we're calling other companies.
Right.
So we'll get bids from 4 different companies and see where it gets us. Unless somebody else has a name of a different accounting firm.
Anyone?
No,
Do you charge a
Nothing.
contract rate versus an annual rate? Like when they do the bidding?
it's for the
For the
entire,
entire year?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know whether Janice Graham does this kind of work. I use her for my accounting, but she's, I think, full up.
She's kind of trying to back down a little bit too, I think.
So she may not be taking on anything new.
But it might.
It might be worth a call to ask her.
Yeah, and if nothing else, who she'd recommend.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Claire.
you're welcome.
All right, I'll hand it off to,
So we're leaving this ship with all these issues.
Perfect time,
Yeah.
Yes.
hand it off to Denny
Yes.
and the treasurer's report.
Can you all hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so what you've got in front of you is a slightly different report format than you've seen before. And I think it's helpful for you to see just some of the high level numbers on a monthly basis. And what this report does is show the numbers for February in the left hand of the three columns of numbers, and then year to date, and then the full year. And the full year is what Jane is forecasting each line to be by the end of the year based on current burn rate and the budget and then the differential. So we look at income and then expense, and then below that is other income, other expense. And the other income is, there are a couple of bequests in there, and then the endowment transfer, which really becomes our balancer, I think, if I were to put it any other way. I've broken down the income and the expense into the high level areas of where our income comes from and then what our major expense categories are. So we can look at them on a monthly basis, but more importantly, look at how they're going to play out through the end of the budget year. So we get a feeling for whether we're above budget or below budget and whether we've got issues or we don't have issues. And as Joe's reported, certainly since I've been listening to these meetings, we're in good shape and we are in good shape. But there are a couple of things that I'd like to note. So just kind of walking through this on the income side, the appeal is ahead of where they had budgeted for it last year, which is good. The town money is in, book sales are robust, the parking lot money is in, there's a little grant money, and then there's another category of all other, which is the membership cards, library cards for people that don't live in Bridgewater or Woodstock, and some other ancillary income, photocopiers and other things that are in there. The most of that money seems to be the library card sales. I skipped over gala, and I'll come back to that. We are budgeted for a $42,750 income from the gala that we're not going to have this year. So I'll circle back to that at the end. But overall, we're running a little bit ahead of where we thought we'd be on the income side, including the gala. And so that's all good. On the expense piece, a little more detail here, but again, I think it's important for as board members, you have an idea of where the money is going, but also whether we're above or below. And in a nutshell, we've had some vacancies on the personnel side, so salary wages are running behind where they were projected, and that's going to help us out at the end of the year. One area where we are above budget are utilities, and that's power and that's fuel. And so we'll take a look at that, but it is what it is. It's been a cold winter. Heating costs have been higher than expected, and electrical rates have gone up. So we budget as best we can, and then we have to deal with reality as we get into the year. But that particular line is 18% above budget, and so $4,200 is not an insignificant amount of money. We've had some things in repair and maintenance. We're a little above there, but the numbers aren't tremendously large. Some expenses have been less than expected, so some of that balances out. And overall, we're running a little bit below where we thought we'd be on the expense side, so that helps us out as well. So the next line down is a net, and you've got 16,000 that we think will be over on the income and 14,000 or under, which leaves us about 30K in the black overall. So if you go left on that net number, you'll see that the budget shows that have a deficit of 160,000, and that's don't worry about that quite yet, because we go down to the other income, and that's where we see the endowment infusion. And as you know, we take a 12 quarter rolling number, and 5% of the 12 quarter rolling balance gives us what we can take out of the endowment. This year, that's 138,000, and that's what was in the budget. There's also the quest in there and some other cats and dogs. So we end up at the very bottom at the net income line after some other expense of the website piece that didn't happen. The budget has us within $6,000 of balancing, and we're running a little bit ahead of that. So we're about 20,000 overall, projected to be under budget. So that's a very, very healthy organization. It's a healthy organization with the income. It's a healthy organization in controlling costs. And it's a pretty, honestly, it's a very lean budget. So I'm pretty happy having had the opportunity to go through it. I'm pretty happy with where we are. I'll circle back to the gala. So if you take the 20,000 that we're expecting to be over budget and you subtract the gala from that, that leaves us a little bit in the hole. We are projected at the moment to take out 120 from the endowment. We can take out 138. So that gets us very close to balancing if I'm not doing public math. So we're doing okay. But we'll want to take a look at the future fundraising activities and make sure that we are maintaining that number 30 to 40K that we rely on to keep ourselves within balance. What I don't have on this is the balances of the endowment fund and what they did last month and what they've done for the year, and I'll add that in for next month. But this is sort of a work in progress for me. I wanted to see how it looked, and going through this month's numbers, see how it works, putting the numbers into this, and then the information coming out. If you have any suggestions, I'm happy to take them on board. I've got a thick skin and I have no real ownership in this. I'm just trying to play around with a format that might work to make sure that we don't have any surprises. And that is all I've got today.
Thank you, Denny. If we are successful with the Daffodil Affair and we let's say we take in $10,000 in revenue from that, will that go on to the line item of gala, or where will we see that revenue, and would that in essence offset the projected loss from not having the gala?
It would absolutely offset that loss, and I would put it into that line, and we probably change the name of the line, but that's where the money would go as a replacement for that activity, and we'd see a direct result of that. And honestly, we could take up to 138 from the endowment. If that's not enough, if we don't get anything out of the gala or the daffodil, then we'll have to talk about that a little bit later. But that would do, I think that would do a tremendous amount of work to balance us out at the end of the year.
And what about like book sale money? Where does that line item kick in? Is that
So you
all
see-
records?
Yeah, you see,
Yeah, there's a separate line for it.
yeah, you see.
Yeah.
So you can see on the book sales, the
Oh, yeah.
forecast is
Okay.
33K. It was
Yeah.
budgeted at 41, so we're 19% below at the end of the year. So that's a little short of what they thought that would be. And we'll look as we go into the budget for next year. We'll take a look at why that is. And part of the function of that budget activity in the budget group is to look at where we are with this year's budget, where those numbers came from, and whether we were able to meet those numbers or not meet the numbers, and why, and then adjust them appropriately to try to get as close as we can for next year.
Right. So then the same would hold true with the wassail event.
They're not rating $10,000. That's not,
Well,
No,
I'm just,
I mean, that's not realistic.
well, the point being that what I know, but what I was saying was, so we have the gala line item. But if we don't do the gala, but we are doing a wassail dinner, or we're doing a daffodil thing, or you.
or
come
we
up
do
with
one
some-
in the summer.
Another new event.
We come up with some other.
Yes, these are monies that will
Right.
push into the gala.
And we
Uh,
also
and
look at how,
budget.
because so the Standard wants to do a story about why we're not having the gala. Theoretically, that's going to alert people who, when they get their spring appeal letter, are saying, well, there's not a gala, so let me include that money into my, sending a check. Which in the past, after COVID, when they weren't able to have a gala, people were being more generous with their annual giving, right? Or
Yes, they were for that year.
It
That,
was-
right, they were definitely,
some
they were.
something baked in there, but yeah, so.
So that was a part of was a part of the formula, was the gala's budgeted here with revenue, and the expenses were, we felt, quite high.
Yeah.
We felt by doing a daffodil and a wassail and something else that maybe we get the revenue, keep the revenue here,
Eventually,
and the expenses though are
much lower.
much lower.
Build the
So
people coming to these events, hopefully we can work that.
That's the hope, is that with
Yeah.
each event that we have, we grow it to bigger and bigger.
All right, so
We have 3 or 4 of them throughout the year.
we'll see the revenue, but the nice offset is we just didn't have all these bills coming in from the gala event, and that was a part of
We
that.
only made $12,000 on the gala last year.
I think we
so
paid
this
as
is
much to the inn as we actually
this is a
kept for
very,
ourselves. Not a really,
Optimistic,
Yeah.
2000, from the gala was very optimistic.
yeah, I don't know what we were thinking when
The Wasso, we didn't bring either, or do we?
we broke even. We made a little bit on the second. We didn't on the first year. On the second year, we did make some. I'm hoping to make more on this, and like we say, I really think that it will grow with each event that we have.
The group, the fundraising group, thank you, Mary Margaret and Jack, working on new models, and Claire and Michael. For how to go after, sort of looking at the three-tier approach for fundraising, looking at identifying like big donors and meeting with them on a one-to-one basis, asking for a commitment going forward. Smaller dinner parties where we are targeting mid-range donors and kind of getting them on board with thinking about making a certain level of commitment on a regular basis. And then these events, which are for, for lower price point, younger families, bringing people in who might potentially grow their donations in the future, sort of building a pipeline for future major donors. The library. So we're working on a multi-tier approach to capturing people on a more regular basis so that
Right.
it's not so undefined.
I do think I don't have the time to commit to the fundraising committee, but I do think that there's also another tier underneath that of like young families. Again, I know I mentioned the babysitting thing, but this is 75 a person is a lot of money for a young family in this community to not.
Yeah, could you
get.
have your hand up?
So I think there might be like, if we wanna go after the people with kids, maybe there's another tier where it's more of a, get a food truck. It's like things kids can eat and kids are welcome, and it's.
We are actually thinking of that for a summer event.
It's timed with nap time. I know that sounds silly, but when you do something in nap time, people don't come. Santa always comes at nap time. They miss a lot of families.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be like a sounding board for that, because I think.
So what
more
do you think is a
passionate
good price point for something like that?
I mean, Bianca can give input too, but I think 25 for an adult, and then like a kid would be like 10. Like something that it can be, and it doesn't have to be fancy, like you can have $25 and then have it be a Raimundo's, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't, so you can still make a strong margin on it. But people love, like, our group of kind of peers, we tend to go to things where you can like a feast and field where, kids are welcome, it's a little bit free range, you can pay for a ticket, everyone can kind of be fed and there's like socializing and it's casual, or like Brownsville Butcher often will do events like barbecue or pizza night on a Friday. Those kinds of things, we tend to arrive in herds.
So do you think,
We need herds for.
Yeah.
you say $25 for an adult and $10 for a child, but what if it were $50 for an entire family, which just seems easier to me to have just a one price?
I think
Do you think that's too much?
well, I think if you just have one kid, yeah, I mean, sure, it's just families are all shapes and sizes.
Right.
So for me, that would be a great deal if I just have one kid. But I think there's something about pricing it per person. If you say $25 per person, per adult, adults make it feel like, oh, it's $25. Because once you start saying $50, and things do cost that, when I go to Feast and Field, I like end up being shocked by what it costs to feed free, 2.5 people there, a glass of wine. But there's something about just having it printed out as $25 that makes it feel accessible to people.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I do think we need to think about, our resources for all of these events and putting on all these events. And
Right.
is that better, is a community like that better served by free-ish events where, and we'll get you later,
Yeah.
Where your children will get a little bit older and then we'll come after you for,
Yeah.
your contributions. I don't know. I just
No,
think-
we have talked about
Yeah,
both scenarios.
bring you into the fold first when and your life is chaotic and hectic and then, I don't know, I just.
Yeah, and I think as soon as we get through this, we'll start planning a summer.
Yeah.
But that's definitely in the pipeline to do some
And I'm
type of summer event.
too, because I know for the Pooches and Pup Spray, for example, I used to participate in that, so I have 2 dogs, and I know we don't run that, I know it's the Friends. And one of my dogs was like in the cover of the Valley News with me, it was like a cute thing. And I don't do it anymore because that's the week our daycare closes. So that's when we have to go on vacation as a family, because that's like the week I don't have childcare and I can't take time off of work back to back. So
Do all the daycares close at the same time?
that
Or
is
do
the-
they stagger?
They try, well, at least, I can do some field research on that, but a lot of them align with the school schedule, and that's the last week that public schools are closed. So like the Friends do their event every weekend on the weekend where every family is getting their last gasp of summer.
Right,
And so it's tough, like things like that, it's a small thing, but that has a huge impact.
right, no, absolutely, something to consider.
Yes, Bianca, did you have your hand up?
No, I agree with Liz. I mean, yeah, everything you said is correct, yeah. I was just
So
more,
can we pick your brains as we're organizing?
Totally, because I would just hate for a date to be picked and I'd be like, oh my goodness, that's like the
Right.
date that X thing is happening.
Okay,
This almost sounds like it would be a potential project for a group of young families to get together and design this. Okay, where all the things you're talking about, they appreciate and they know that they know how to get at that.
well, being a young family, they may not have time to do it.
Yeah, just,
To pick their brain and get all their input.
Yeah, and I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to talk to people
Online, have the moms over, ready to say, what do you get up for?
So like when we're kind of after bedtime and it's.
Well, you know what? You would need ears to the ground.
Yeah, I'm happy to chat with
They would like to have, like, what, again,
What events, what
yeah.
activities?
I want to ask, but like,
Here,
Yeah.
what, or just kind of talking with your friends at pickup, just sort of like, what would you think?
Absolutely.
We're trying to figure out how to have events at the library that young families would want to attend, and it's just such a beautiful library, the children's library is so amazing.
and we all do love it,
Yeah.
and our kids love it. Like my daughter was so happy last week. I picked her up from school And she said, can we go to the library? And I was like, "Well,"
But also a big question is, does it need to be here in the library? Or could it be at a place like East End Park or something?
Right.
yeah, Vale's Field,
Yeah.
we all do our birthday parties, so that's a big place, like you
Mhm.
could do a book themed thing, like a book themed scavenger hunt there. There, I think there's a lot of room for that.
You have
so-
to arrange that through the rec center?
Yeah.
It's everybody just kind of go, but it's really magical, I mean, and also
There's an organization, the library, like.
We'll like if we call Gail and set it up.
We might.
kids can play playgrounds, even if a gathering is happening, so.
Do you feel like there's a void in the town, in the area of Woodstock for those kinds of things for young families? I'm out of touch with young families, I don't know, or are there an abundance, something like you mentioned Feaston Field several
Yeah.
times, and I mean, is this going to be welcomed as, hey, finally, we have something to do, or is it gonna be like, oh, what's going this down?
I think it depends on the timing, and I'll really sort of put on my thinking hat about what resonates and what doesn't. This, in the summer, it feels like there's a lot, because there's like, you'll see some families go to like Farmers Market Wednesday, Feastville Thursday, Pentangle music in East End Park on a Friday. Abracadabra doing pizzas on Sunday afternoon, and like everybody has their lineup and we all just casually meet, like whoever's there is there. I don't do all of them. But in the winter, there's a lot less and people tend to congregate at Saskadina on Friday afternoons. I was there all weekend. So I can sort of think about what hits. But I think generally we are grateful for something that you can show up at, that has structure, that you're not in charge of creating. So I think I don't necessarily think that people feel there's dirt. It definitely, like going into mud season, stick season is where it starts to feel like kids get cooped up. So I can try to think of creatively. I know we're sort of missing it for this year. There's a way to do an indoor thing that kind of lets kids spread their run around. Yeah, I think there's a resurgence of young families, and I think we don't have a lot of time and we don't have as much resources. Housing market here is really competitive, but we definitely want to be involved, and everybody is pretty present.
Yeah, so if we need a big
Okay.
or more open indoor space, we could try maybe using the gym at the elementary school if they would allow that.
Yeah. Oh,
Library
absolutely.
sponsored and planned thing, but
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have to be in our schools. If it's- if you
Right.
want kids
Does
to
the
be able to
little
run around.
group still allow things like that? I know.
I think so. I've done
Yes,
stuff.
they do.
On to stuff there.
Mm.
Well, doing things offsite is next level in terms of resources needed to pull off something like that too. So we need to,
It is because then
What-
usually there's a fee involved in your
Well, yeah, that's why I
lesson and your
mentioned the school. I
intake.
don't know if the school.
we're trying to be really sensitive to reimagine fundraising models for what we can sort of handle with staff and boards, and what we can do and how we ramp up sort of as we build the model, how do we, go slowly. And so, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room because we're thinking of the future, but, yeah. you could-
But there are possibilities that
Yeah.
we can investigate.
Yeah.
I think it is a great idea.
Rachel, I'll go
Okay.
see her, just sort of pick her brain. All right. I think that's.
Great, Liz, thank you.
Sorry.
Good, no, that's great.
It
I
is
think
good.
that feathers into what you're doing very well, and it's good. So good thinking. Good thinking. Anything else? Any questions for Denny on treasurer's report? Motion to approve the report?
Motion?
Kenny, thanks for doing the report.
Yeah.
Nice coming to the meeting and not having to worry about it.
Sure. Yeah, thank you.
Somebody second.
Second,
Thank you, Jack.
all right. Before we adjourn, I think the board, if I could be so bold as to speak for the board, to thank Joe on the record for all of your time and guidance that you've given the board over your many years. Is it 6 years? Is that
I,
lost count?
sounds right.
Okay, well,
They don't really know when they started, but anyhow.
Well, thank you very
when
much.
we started, because you were on the board many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate all of your time and thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. I love the library, I think it's a great place, I think it's, the most part, it's very well run. Fortunately, we have enough money that we're not usually worried about where's the next dime coming from.
Yeah. Well, you can still attend the meetings as a member of the public, so. Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Second? All in favor?
Made the motion, what's Jack again? You're so silent. Sorry, I missed it.
I should have made the motion. Can we change that?
All right, well, we have a little something here going on, Joe, and
I made the motion.
thank you very much for joining
All
us by Zoom. Take care.
See you next time.
Fun. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, for you. Help you. And even without
Who the hell did that? We need a picture tonight. We need a picture. Sorry, I'm, that's pretty frank, Joe. It is.
Wow. That's a lot of you, Joe.
Yeah.
That's right.
Something was like pictures for the Joe, all the same.
Joe's. That's
I
fantastic.
have more for your wife too.
Check the show, Joe.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Very hard. Can you turn them sideways? Yeah. Go do your champagne and you get it there. Yeah. I'm gonna summon everybody's back. Thank you for doing that, Rob. Thank you.
Photographer.
Yeah, I'm so good at it. Down, around. Yes, we're, yeah.
You got time to read now, huh?
You do. Talk about how to run a library.
Yes, don't have, yes. Oh, then. My program process, I'm more.
Maybe the photographer.
Putting it close, some people are passing.
Yeah, no, don't have to.
Pretty because they use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they're thinking there. Preachers go, what, oh, I know that. So, those ones, and you got you're gonna have one, so you are yourself. Well, I'll try your suits, yeah. They're sure.
Yes.
Congratulations, seriously, what's spring training, are you running the marathon?
You know, just trying to.
Good luck.
65 in the
That's. Oh, that's shocking.
You.
All right, well.
All right, Joe, you have to open your gift.
It's right out. So, and Shane, you into just he's questioning what your motives. Yeah, now worship.
A legend of Sleepy Hollow. I read this every October. Yeah, and maybe takes an hour. It's true.
Yes.
The story that.
No, it's 1906 edition.
Wow.
Goodness.
I actually went there to see it.
Told me that one
Yeah.
time.
A cupcake. Wait, is that vanilla or chocolate?
Yeah, that's a very special early edition.
Chocolate.
It's very special for you, Joe.
Take this, yeah, it's a, it's highly advised everybody read it. It's not